In New York State, they passed the what's called the Medical Care for the Dying Act. And the legislature passed it, and it's sitting on the desk of the governor. And it basically is a euthanasia bill. It is assisted suicide.
So it's not actually medical care. It's
Well, it's couched that way, but it's
right.
actually not.
Oh
No.
my gosh.
And
Okay.
this is how it got passed. This is extremely important. It got passed because it was couched in this false sense of, well, this is mercy. And we're going to tend to the person's needs and their freedom and responsibility. So, what are the provisions? You have to be over 18 years of age. You have to be terminally ill with the diagnosis that you have 6 months or less to live. You need two physicians to certify that that is two separate, that that is the actual diagnosis. That the person has to prove that they are capable of making the decision freely, so there's no constraint, and that it's self administered. Now, one could look at that and say, okay, well, basically, it's by his own hand, he's free, two doctors have said it, this is irreversible. Sounds reasonable. No, it doesn't. Let me just say that point blank. No,
Right.
because for many reasons, we could go through some of them now, and at the break, we could go through the others. But first and foremost, the fact that one is making that decision precludes the possibility that there can be an intervention that has not been thought of, that has not been identified, that frankly hasn't even been created, that could mitigate the terminal nature of the illness. So it is a direct attack, in my humble opinion, on hope.
Yes. Yep.
And hope, as we know, is not hope that I'm going to be healed, is that hope is that I keep my eyes fixed on the pilgrimage to heaven.
Yes.
And to assist in one's own killing is a grave sin. It is a mortal sin. And if you're conscious of what you're doing, then you can't even, the bill actually guarantees in some sense, if you actually define it, that this person is culpable for what they're doing,
Right.
right?
Yeah. 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 It's so sad because, like, also in those 6 months, like, that's still your life. So,
Without a doubt. But there's also, it's false advertising. It's considered to be merciful, but it's not merciful to rob someone of the remaining time that God has given them and the hope that would be engendered in that to make peace with God so that you're ready to go into, please God, the glory that is promised to us. Plus, I go back to the slippery slope. There are many states that have done this where they have loosened these restrictions. Because once again, this is a terrible thing for me to say, but I am who I am, and I call it like it is. But this is just, in many ways, with some perhaps mistaken intentions on the people, some people who advocate for it, thinking this is merciful. This is just a way to say, in the next 6 months, you're going to cost us a fortune. So why don't we just give you these things and just call it a day? Right? Now, maybe I'm wrong, but no one can tell me that money does not have a factor in this in some way, shape, or form. And it just horrifies me to think that for all the resources we have and the ability for us to mitigate pain so that a person can live peacefully, relatively pain free, even in a terminal illness, and to spend time with their relatives and their friends, then to be able to do that in such a way, that makes preeminent sense. And if someone say, well, Caggiano, but what happens if you have no friends? If you're basically alone, if life has all been a struggle, and therefore, you know, what is there the 6 months to look forward to? And then my response back to it, that's the clarion call for the church to step in. This whole talk about accompaniment and pastoral ministers of the sick, right? No one should face terminal illness alone. And if their family doesn't care, or they don't have family, or they have no friends, then that is where the church has to stand up and say, we oppose this bill, but we also need to walk with people so that they're not alone and they're not hopeless in the natural course of their life. We can't
Yeah.
have it both ways either, right?
And whether you have 60 years left or 6 months left or 6 days left, your life has value.
Oh, well, incalculable value. I mean, it has value that's beyond price. Absolutely. And you look at all the great saints, many of them, Carlo Acutis, right? I mean, they all, at the end, many of them had suffered tremendously. But what did they do? They offered it as an opportunity for purification, right? To be able to ready themselves for the glory of heaven.
Yep. Yep. Thanks for watching. Before you go, please be sure to subscribe, like, hit the bell, leave a comment down below. All of that stuff helps us reach more souls.